Alright, next up out of my collection, the Mauser 1871/84 rifle. As like with most militaries in this time period, they all adopted a single shot bolt action rifle, which was pretty sturdy and standard for the day. Then current events, wars, and that proved that having a repeating rifle puts you at an advantage other than troops armed with a single shot gun. So what they did is they redesigned the 1871 rifle to have a tube magazine, an 8-round tube magazine, placed underneath to where that's where the tube is. We'll get them side by side and look. So same caliber magazine was added. The older guns were not modified. This was a whole new gun. It was kind of redesigned. And there's a difference with the sights. Basically, the sights, there's the bolt is the same, except if you go to my disassembly videos on the 71, this screw will come out. This screw will not come out on a 7184. Okay, because I guess they were losing them. So they did something to where the screw is non-removable and you have to back this washer out to get the bolt off. But if you see my disassembly video, it'll all be explained. But basically, the bolt, other than that, I believe the bolt's about the same. The rear sight is different. Okay, they changed that a bit. But area of the bayonet lug and that is still there. The bayonets would work. And I believe they added a stacking swivel, which is not on the 71. So we'll take a look at it from the other side, and before we do that, let's look at the markings. I know everyone likes that. Here's our Imperial proof marks. I gotta get a new camera. And these guns were all dated. So this one is 1888. Okay. Mauser flag safety, all the standard same stuff. So let's look at it from the other side where there's some other things added. Alright, from the other side, as you can see, the receiver's different because you see some added things here. This is the magazine cutoff, and it has an extra mechanism in there, so the receiver is totally different. It is a different model gun, and you can see there 7184. And again, some proof marks, and this one was made in Spandau. Okay. And in taking the bolt out, you have to kind of manipulate this magazine cutoff while you're extracting the bolt. That is covered in my older disassembly video. You can find it on my channel. So those are some of the basic changes reviewed here quickly. And now I'll get the camera set up, and I'll show you the difference in the bolt and the magazine system and how that kind of differs from the other gun. Alright, so here we have the bolt. Looks very similar to the older gun. Works the same way. Pull it back. It is in single shot mode. You place the cartridge. Single shot. You got the 2-position flag safety. It locks the bolt, which Mauser was famous for after making this gun. Now we go to this side. And what this is the magazine cutoff. This lever's forward, so the gun operates in single shot mode. Okay. If, I forget how this is done. Okay, you would have to open the gun. Yes, you have to open the bolt, then the magazine selector will operate. Okay, so what this does, when you throw that switch, you see that floor plate's down in there? What would happen is a cartridge would come out onto the floor plate, and when you yank back, it comes up, and then the gun functions as a single shot, or it chambers around and fires. Again, when you open it, come back, when you push the bolt forward, there's a mechanism that drops that down, and another cartridge would be laying in there, and then when you pull it up, away it goes. And you must close the bolt to drop it. Now to load it, you would just take a cartridge with the floor plate down and push it forward, much like any standard pump or semi-automatic shotgun. And actually this magazine system still does exist today. It works the same way as a pump shotgun or semi-auto tube mag shotgun. This type of magazine system is still used in a firearm to this day. Now I guess the individual that developed this system was, I know you say Kropacek, but Kropacek designed this magazine system. And this thing was adopted by the Germans, the French, and of course that gun made by Steyr for the Portuguese, the Kropacek rifles, and there were several variations in different types. The French even had some sort of a gun chambered for the Gras cartridge, the 11mm Gras, that used a very similar system. They're quite rare, these weapons. Okay? But that's your magazine system. That's the difference. And then what you would do, you would close the bolt, and I think the only way you have to open it, then you can throw the magazine cutoff back into place once again. So that's how that works. Okay, side by side we got the 7184 at the top and the 71 here on the bottom. How you can tell noticeable changes. First of all, they had a brass trigger guard on the 71. That was gone. And like I said, with the added mechanism in that here on the 784, you see where the receiver is quite different than the older gun. Also, the safety is different. Okay, so there's knurling on the safety, where on the other one the flag safety is different. So probably the bolt and some of the parts probably will not fit, or maybe they do, maybe they don't. I've never had to research that, but there are differences, obvious differences in the gun. You know, and also you have the floor plate and tube magazine. And like I said, if you look at the rear sight on the 71 as compared to the 80, quite different. You know, this one's a lot simpler, not as complex. This one has, you know, your sight, where this is more like the old-fashioned black powder, like even on the rolling blocks, you only have one or two different apertures here for that. And both of them do have this little flip down. I don't know if that's combat sight or whatever. Both of them do have that. They retain that in the sight, but the sight is different. So that's about it. Also, I found that on the 7184, the barrel is cut different. This is more like a modern rifle. The lands and grooves are not as deep like on the 71s. Okay, this is more like a modern gun, and it's easier to reload a cast bullet for this one. Get it close to the groove diameter, and the 74s do shoot well. They're not problematic to shoot as much as trying to get a bullet and get the accuracy out of the 71 model. But that's about it in a nutshell, guys. I've made a ton of videos on disassembly and taking a bolt out and everything else. Just go to my channel and look them up. I made a lot of videos. Yeah, they were years ago, but the information's still good. They haven't changed the design of the gun yet. So that's it. So hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned as I go through and kind of review a lot of the stuff in my collection. All right, thank you.